Huh, BJ won. Well, that mask vs. mask stipulation was rather anticlimactic, wasn't it? Anyway, hey there YouTube, Wrestling Optimus here, back with my action figure review of AEW Full Gear. It was a bit of an up and down show with great in-ring action but a few head-scratching finishes. Don't get me wrong, it was way better than anything WWE has done lately, but I can't exactly say it lived up to all the hype. Although, I'd rather have too much hype going into a pay-per-view than none at all like we have for Survivor Series. Still, I had fun, because even if I didn't win the Pickle Championship, at least someone managed to take it off Danny. It's time to find out what happened, but first, if you're new here, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, we're headed into my custom arena, so for a recap and review, let's take it over to the action figures. On the buy-in pre-show, Dante Martin of Top Flight comes out to address all the offers that he's received lately for membership in various groups. But just as Tony Schiavone goes to ask him, the Acclaimed arrive complete with signature Max Caster entrance rap. Anthony Bowens also extends an offer to the 20-year-old Phenom, but when it comes with a threat, Dante hits them with an insane springboard plancha. The only real action on the pre-show sees Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter take on Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. It's hardly match of the year, but good enough to get the crowd excited. In the end, Shida rolls up her old foe Nyla Rose for the win. Ironically, when the main show did begin, we got what I would consider match of the night right away as Darby Allin takes on MJF in a surprisingly technical affair. Early on, MJF hurts his knee, yet continues using knee-based offense for some reason. Wardlow and Shawn Spears, with chair in hand, attempt to interfere, but Sting makes the save with his trusty baseball bat. Max gets Darby's skateboard and slides it to him before trying to coax him into getting DQ'd. However, being a good babyface, Darby refuses and hands it to the referee. But that's when MJF pulls out his Dynamite Diamond Ring and clocks Darby in the face while the ref's back is turned. Then, as promised, he wins with a simple headlock takeover. The Lucha Brothers get set to defend their AEW Tag Team titles against the AAA champs FTR. What's funny is that each of these teams should really have the other's belts, but that contrast in style, high-flying lucha libre versus old-school southern wrestling, is exactly what makes this match so amazing. The ending, however, wasn't so great. While Dax is the legal man, FTR rolls under the ring, only for Cash to emerge with a luchador mask on. Somehow the ref doesn't notice it's him, and allows Pentagon to hit a spike pile driver, make the pin, and retain. My guess is FTR will complain about this on Dynamite, but that finish was really lame regardless. In the finals of the World Title Eliminator Tournament, Miro squares off against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson with a shot at the AEW Championship on the line. The Bulgarian dominates most of the match, but Danielson stays in it by attacking Miro's neck. The strategy proves effective as he nails a top rope tornado DDT and locks in a guillotine choke before Miro passes out. Your winner and number one contender, Bryan Danielson. Next, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks take on Jurassic Express and Christian Cage in a Falls Count Anywhere match that's also apparently no DQ. There's ladders, trash cans, tables, chairs, and of course, thumbtacks. But it's Adam Cole who blades a little too deep and winds up gushing blood everywhere. On the ramp, the Super Click get out some custom thumbtack-covered knee pads and deliver a BTE trigger to Luchasaurus, but the dinosaur gets the last laugh when he takes out nearly everyone with an insane shooting star press off the stage. Left alone with Matt Jackson, Jungle Boy finally musters up enough aggression to hit a concerto and get the win for his team. Between this and his new facial hair, he's truly becoming a jungle man before our eyes. Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black take on the makeshift team of Pac and Cody Rhodes next. Despite all his recent efforts, the American Nightmare is booed out of the building during his entrance and seemingly every time he enters the match. Cody does his best to ignore it and pump up the crowd anyway, but that only seems to make things worse. Unfortunately, there's no shock debut like I predicted. Instead, Cody takes out Malachi while Pac hits Andrade with a Black Arrow to get the win. Afterwards, Cash Wheeler runs down and beats up Pac, continuing FTR's feud with the Bastard's friends, Pentagon and Phoenix. The guitarist from Fozzy plays Dr. Britt Baker to the ring as she defends her women's championship against Brazilian judo expert Ty Conti, whose action figure is coming out soon. She actually controls most of the match, hitting multiple knee strikes along with her signature moves, the DD Ty and the Ty KO. As expected though, Jamie Hayter and Rebel interfere to help turn the tide and allow Baker to get the roll-up victory and retain. Neither CM Punk nor Eddie Kingston have time for an entrance as they head straight for the ring to settle their long-standing beef. Eddie nails Punk with a spinning back fist before the bell even rings. From there, it's an all-out brawl as a divided crowd cheers both men in equal measure. About midway through the match, and much like with Adam Cole earlier, Punk botches a blade job and we end up seeing our second gusher of the night. This also leads to him being too exhausted to capitalize on a GTS. When Punk lays in some knee strikes, the crowd boos, leaving him visibly shocked, but he hits another GTS anyway and gets the pin this time. Okay, this is where the pay-per-view kind of went off the rails in my opinion. First, they introduced wrestling legend and master of the Iron Claw, Baron Von Raschke, so you knew he'd be getting involved. Then, despite this being a street fight with no rules, the match started with everyone standing on the ring apron and following traditional tag team rules. Once things broke down and spilled to the outside, it got a little better. In addition to the usual fare, I enjoyed the weapons that were invented in Minneapolis, like the toaster and the water ski, which gave the match some local flavor. Sure enough, the Baron gets all-ego Ethan Page in an iron claw when he gets in the face of Jake Hager's wife. Honestly, it's a bit of a clusterfuck until eventually Chris Jericho and Dan Lambert find themselves alone in the ring. Jericho hits him with a kendo stick and staples Lambert in the groin, then heads to the top rope. In one of the many tributes to the late great Eddie Guerrero on the night, Chris Jericho motions to the sky before hitting a frog splash for the win. Although initially touching, he continues pointing a little too long and makes it kind of awkward. Tony Schiavone announces that former Impact and Ring of Honor champion Jay Lethal is all elite. He comes out and immediately challenges Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. The long-awaited main event sees Kenny Omega defend his AEW championship against Hangman Adam Page. This match told a brilliant story of former best friends and tag champions driven apart by Hangman's drinking problem, insecurities, and lack of belief in himself, but destined to end up right here in one last epic battle with everything on the line. And unlike the rest of the card, this match absolutely lived up to the hype. Don Callis did interfere, and there was a side story about Kenny's finisher, the One-Winged Angel, both of which briefly took me out of it, but that's nitpicking. In the end, after not being at ringside for his first title shot and driving the initial wedge in their friendship, the Young Bucks seemingly accept Hangman's apology, come down, and stand silently in his corner rather than interfere. Page looks at Nick before hitting one buckshot lariat, then looks at Matt, who nods in approval before hitting a second and making the cover to get a 3 count and finally become the AEW World Champion. The Dark Order rush out to celebrate. Alex Reynolds hands Page a beer, but he tosses it aside and joins them all in a massive group hug. Aww. They lift him on their shoulders as the show goes off the air. So what's the takeaway? Well, it was a really good pay-per-view, and certainly worth the money. The best parts were probably the opening match and the closing image of Hangman Page as the new champion, held aloft by his adopted family, the Dark Order. It was a feel-good show to be sure, but middle of the road by AEW's lofty standards. Alright, that'll do it for AEW Full Gear. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. No Dynamite review this week, so I can focus on making my Survivor Series predictions and finally winning back the Pickle Championship. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to do all that normal YouTube stuff, smash the like button, share with any wrestling or action figure fans you may know, subscribe to the channel, and spread the word. You can also talk to me over on Twitter at WrestlingOptimus, or see all my best figure photography over on Instagram at WrestlingOptimus. If you haven't seen my Monster Jam Dirt Arena unboxing, you can check that out right here. But until next time, I've been Wrestling Optimus, and I'll catch you later.